And here we go. Next one up. So we're reading here and it says, if the warehouse stocks this many new TVs, that's not the question. The question's right here. What is the number of 4K televisions? All right, so we're looking for the number of 4K TVs here. And we want to emphasize that. That's what we're looking for. And now let's read through the information. It says, at a large electronics warehouse, 33% of the new TV models are 4K televisions. So I'm just going to write that down. Like, that's going to be what we want to translate here. It says 33% of the new TV models, so 33% times new models, equal those 4K TVs. So 33% represents the 4K TVs. Okay, sounds good. Now, what information do we have? It says the warehouse stocks 1,800 new TV models. So right there, it stocks 1,800 new models. Whoops, let me go ahead and highlight that. There we go. 1,800 new ones. So we can replace the new models with 1,800. So when we turn that into a decimal, it's 0.33 times 1,800 equals the number of 4K TVs. So before I continue, are we in agreement that we are working forward? We are multiplying to get that result. Sweet. So we're good. Let's get it done. And again, two ways to get this done. One is to do 1,800 multiplied by 0.33. Or we could have, instead of moving the decimal on the percentage, we could have moved it on the 1,800 to make it 33 times 18. Two ways to get it done, and they both will get you the same correct answer. But nonetheless, let's just go ahead and multiply and have ourselves a good day. So here we are, 0 times 3, 0 times 3, 8 times 3 is 24, carry the 2. And then 1 times 3 is 3, carry the 2 is 5. Then from there, move it on to the next line by placing a 0. And then we'll have the same exact results. 0, 0, 4, and then 5 because it's the same exact number. So we can just repeat that just one space over. From here, we're good. We're going to add it up. 0, 0, 4, 9, and 5. Everybody, how many decimal places are we bringing back? Cool. That's going to be 2. That's right. 1, 2, 1, 2, and we are done. 594 is the answer, and that's going to be answer choice B. And again, the reason that this is not going to be a working backwards instance is because when we translate the English into math, we see that it says 33% of the new TV models are 4K TVs. Well, we know that there's 1,800 new TV models, so they're basically saying 33% of 1,800 is the number of 4K TVs. Is the number of 4K TVs. So we're looking for the number of 4K TVs. This is working forward. If you're trying to find the total or the original amount, before you manipulate, before you categorize, that's the original amount. But right here, we're looking for that portion of the new models. So we're given all the models that we have, all the new models, and we're looking for a portion of them. 33% precisely is what represents 4K TVs. And so the percent you apply is the result you get. We are looking for 4K TVs. That is the result. So I know it takes time for sure to really get this understanding, without a lot of the hesitation. But to know whether you're multiplying or dividing, remember that if we're working forward to get the result, if we're looking for the result, we are multiplying what we have. The percent times the original equals the result. So again, to get the result, you multiply. To go backwards, if we're looking for the original, if we were looking for the new models, we would have to get rid of this. And the opposite of multiplication is division. So that's where that working backwards comes into play. In this case, in this problem, we are given the percent, we are given the original, We are looking for the result. So therefore, we are multiplying. The original amount, the whole amount in the inventory, is 1,800. Remember, original is the same thing as saying 100% or the entire thing. That's what that means. So the original is already given to us. And so with that said, my party people, after the calculation, we would end up getting 594. And hopefully that gives us a little bit more of context there. But with that said, are we ready to give another one a shot? Right on, right on. So let's keep giving our best foot forward. No matter what, we got this. So here we go. So next question up. First thing we do, as always, we'll read that question sentence, and it says, how much rice does she have now? Now, there's a particular word that I want to pay attention to because, as I always say, we want to read the question sentence first, but I want to pay attention to this particular word here at the end. How much rice does she have now? Everybody, if we're asking how much we have at this very moment in time, is it fair to say that there might be a sequence of events here? There might be a beginning amount. There might be some things that happen, maybe adding or subtracting, multiplying or dividing, and we just have to trace that from beginning to end. Is that fair to say with a problem like this? Yeah, I think so. So with that, let's go ahead here and let's trace the story. Let's go ahead and go through it. So we have Emma has 7.8 pounds of rice. So that's our starting point. Appreciate that, Emma. And then it says she uses 1.6 pounds for a project. Let me stop right there. Let me highlight that. Uses 1.6 pounds for a project. Everybody, quick question. If what we're targeting, if what we're keeping track of is how much rice we have now, how do we treat using rice? What does that do to how much rice we have right now? If I use any amount of rice, yeah, we're subtracting it. We're subtracting it. So this uses 1.6 pounds for a project. That's going to come out to look like this, minus 1.6. And then in the next part where we say, and buys another 1.9 pounds at the store. Everyone, again, when we're talking about how much we have in our possession, what does buying do to that final number? That's adding. That is addition. So everyone, as always, I want to remind you that when we tackle word problems, notice that I'm not focusing on the numbers. I'm focusing on what the numbers mean. I'm focusing on the words like uses to get subtraction, and also looking at things like buying another 1.9 pounds to understand that we'll be adding 1.9 to whatever we get. So this is all about understanding a story. It's not about memorizing numbers or memorizing situations. It's about understanding context. We can shape this problem a million different ways. And this is where we start practicing from the very get-go all the way through to those complicated ones. So let's get this done. Let's see what the final answer is, and let's keep moving forward the right way. We have 7.8 minus 1.6. So we have to line up that decimal when we're adding and subtracting. So we have 8 minus 6, and that'll be 2. Then we have 7 minus 1, and that's 6. So we have 6.2. And so we'll take that 6.2 and we'll add 1.9. 2 plus 9 gives us 11. 6, 1, and 1 makes 8. Don't forget to drop that decimal. Keep everything nice and lined up. So we have 8.1. And there we are. There's our final answer. We have 8.1 pounds of rice now. Correct answer? Answer choice D.